Hello guys, and welcome to your Chelsea match review of Chelsea 2, Burnley 2 from Stamford Bridge. I've been quite frustrated, so pardon me for the late release of this video. I wanted to sort of write down some thoughts so I could express them pretty clearly. I've got a new format for my review, so I'll start with a summary of the events of the game. Then I'll talk about my opinions and what's happened in the game. And finally, I'll say what I think it means for our season, which I'll give towards the end of the video, and whether I think we're still in with a shout at top four. So to start with in the game, Burnley, against the run of play, took the lead on 8 minutes. Jeff Hendrick scoring a pretty nice volley from a corner, it has to be said, putting Burnley one up, completely undeserved. But it didn't last very long because N'Golo Kante equalised after a brilliant mazy run from Eden Hazard on 12 minutes. And that didn't last long either because Eden Hazard and Azpilicueta linked up nicely to give Higuain a goal, a really nice finish of a goal on 14 minutes to put Chelsea 2-1 up. But then that was on 14 minutes, and then 10 minutes later, Ashley Barnes from a flick on from a free kick. It went from I think Tarkowski to Wood to Ashley Barnes, who bundles it in at the back post to make it 2-2. And that was how the game ended. But some other key events. Heaton got a yellow for some really poor time wasting in the first half, which continued into the second. Burnley time wasting was really horrendous last night. And the worst news of them all was that Callum Hudson-Odoi ruptured his Achilles tendon on around 40 minutes, which has ended his season and possibly even the first half of next season. So obviously none of that's particularly great news for us, but I want to dissect the game and I want to give you guys a little bit of feedback, what I thought from being at the game. I don't think it's all bad, and I wrote down here, I thought the first half, I thought our attacking play was electrifying. I know Sarri at the start of the season defined Sarri ball as ball possession at a very high speed. And yesterday, in the sort of first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, our attacking play was so quick. The link-ups, the quick little dinks, the passes, I thought Emerson in particular, I thought even Aspi laid it off for Higuain beautifully. Hazard was brilliant. Cho was really trying his best at the speed. And I think the attacking play was unlike any I've ever seen at the Bridge before. Really fluid, quick, and it reminded me a little bit of Sarri's Napoli. And I don't want to say that from like a cult, Sarri-ing cult, this ridiculous story. But it did remind me of Hamšík, Mertens, Insigne, Callejon, just the way they link up for Napoli in that shape under Sarri, it did remind me of that in a good way. And I think that it shows that there's been an improvement. Obviously, the last game I was at was Southampton. I didn't see attacking play like that. And I was really encouraged, to be honest. It said to me that Sarri's methods have been rubbing off on the players, particularly in the attacking phase. Whereas in the defensive phase, there's a lot to be desired, I thought. Both goals came from set pieces. One was a header out to an unmarked man on the front, on the edge of the box. Hendrick, yes, it was a good finish, but where was the man on him? I mean, that's just preparation. Sarri needs to prep the boys to defend in the box. That didn't happen, unfortunately, so that was a great shame. And I thought the second goal was even worse. It was just a free kick. I mean, 3 free headers, went Tarkowski, Wood, Barnes, and none of them had any men on them. Flick on to finish, completely unguarded by our defence. And it was a shame because I thought we gave them 2 chances and they took both of them. And we created so much more than that in that first half. And unfortunately, we weren't able to take it. So that was disappointing. And I think it's just such basic mistakes in defence that Sarri should be really disappointed with. I mean, I know someone said that at one of his clubs he created like 28 set-piece manoeuvres. Well, unfortunately, his defensive manoeuvres appear not to be working, so maybe he needs to produce another 28. I'm not sure, but honestly. That kind of annoyed me last night. And the second half, Burnley slowed the game down. They time wasted, and really we played the game on their terms. We were unable to play quick football, and they put up 2 banks of 4. And suddenly all that fast play that we did see in the first half kind of evaporated, and the build-up was slow, sluggish. Pedro wasn't as good as Cho was in the first half, and the running at those 2 banks of 4 didn't really have a great effect. And it was difficult, it has to be said. And I don't condone the way Burnley were behaving. I thought they behaved very badly, but it shows we need a striker or a killer player to just put the ball past them. Emerson had a shot that went just wide. About the 85th minute, the ball squirted across the edge of their box after a ball in. There's no one there. It just wasn't quite our day, but unfortunately what the game showed me was that Sarri ball, we can't do Sarri ball for more than about 45 minutes a game. I think the only games I've seen us do it for the full game was probably Brighton at home, the City game at home for 2-0, and the League Cup final. And all the other games, we've seen Sarri ball in fits and starts, but we haven't seen it all game, each game. So it shows obviously that there's potential there, but also that the players may well not be good enough, and that Sarri is still very much a work in progress for this side. So that's something we can definitely take away. And now on to the 2 injuries. Gutting that Hudson-Odoi has done his anterior cruciate ligament, because that's a long recovery. I think people were telling me 200 days plus to recover from that. So for a player of 18, that must be really horrendous. I think it's a chance for the club to reaffirm their faith in him by offering him a fat new deal and giving him the support he needs. But crucially, it's just really sad because he was getting into the first team, a young player, and we're unlikely to see him for a little while now. So that's a bit disappointing. Kante coming off at half-time wasn't great. I thought he was brilliant in that first half. And unfortunately, we didn't really have the impetus. I thought his attacking plays improved a lot. But luckily, I believe his injury is not that serious from what was being said last night in Zola's press conference. Sorry getting sent off. I don't blame him for losing his head. It's just unfortunate that we did with the time wasting. I mean, lots of teams in the past for Chelsea would have been cooler than that and composed and sort of not stormed off and done that. But hey, the way they were behaving, it's natural. It's just something that they need to work on. So on to my sort of context. And basically, it's put us in 4th place, the 2-2, but we've played a game more than Arsenal, Tottenham and Man United, and we desperately need some help from perhaps not Brighton, who are going to Wembley, to Spurs Stadium. I don't think they're going to get a result, but we really need a Wolves win. They host Arsenal at Molineux on Wednesday night, and we need City to give Man United a good smoking, to be honest. And if they can do both of those, we remain in 4th. And then it's all down to our game at Old Trafford for me. And then Leicester away and Watford at home. Both will be really tough games. But I think if we can win at Old Trafford, pigs might fly after our performances at top 6 clubs this season. But if we can, I think we will get top 4. But I think we now rely on results this week. And if not, we put everything into Frankfurt and perhaps even rest players for United if both them and Arsenal win in midweek, which I have to say is relatively unlikely. Anyway, guys, it's just a frustrating one. I don't really know what more to say, apart from the fact that we need a hell of a lot of luck to get top 4. We come again next Sunday, I believe at 4 o'clock against United. I'll do another preview for that, but let's hope we get a bit more luck on that day. Anyway, guys, have a good week and up the Chels.